Ladies and gentlemen, agents of info, we are back after a good long while. We are now going to be using a new platform to log and track the information we gather along the video. The new platform is called WOSTR, World of Streams, and we're going to give it a go. We've been working and implementing and integrating with the new platform. So without further ado, let's get started. As we all know, there's been a lot of craziness, but we're just going to get into the recent stuff going in from today, possibly yesterday and today. No, yesterday and today. So a lot of stuff in Iran, which what we'll mostly be going over. But anyways, let's jump right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what we got. And yes, everyone, as stated, we are finally back. It's been a good while. How we're going to do it this time around, since we're on the new platform, like I said, Wostr, that's WOSTR, World of Streams. It's a new, nice little platform, or I guess you could call it an interface. That's what it looks like. It's an interface. So I'm sure we'll enjoy it. We'll dabble in it. We'll probably go silent at times as we mess around and play with it, and log and track stuff and get more. Of course, I've been working on it. It's our sites, but nonetheless, we'll test it out. But how we're going to do it, we're just going to have a video up right now. We're going to go to that. It's about Iran, IRGC, whatnot. And we'll just play that. It's a video from yesterday. And I see some stuff has happened today. So we'll check that out. And then from there forward, we'll just do some typing in and to see what stories will pop up that are similar and maybe other things we'll see along the way. And in the process of doing that, we'll be testing out and using the Woster platform. So bear with us as we struggle, stream. Let's go. Now we're going to have fun. It's going to be a blast and it's going to be good. Let's see what story we see first. Actually, I already know what story it's going to be. So we're going to be looking at the Daily Jargon. Their title will be Iran Facing Civil War with extra. We'll go over that as well. So without further ado, as I said, we'll be checking out this video. It's a YouTube video. So let's see what they got to say. Oh, and the full title, Iran Facing Civil War. Yes, hey!
More than 60 of Iran's most powerful clerics just went public against their own leadership. And the institution they blew up from the inside is the exact body that put Mujtaba Khomeini into power. This is not a small internal disagreement. This is a full-blown public rupture inside one of the most secretive and powerful bodies in the entire Islamic Republic, the Assembly of Experts, the 84-member clerical body that is officially responsible for appointing and overseeing Iran's supreme leader, just had its own majority members bypass their own leadership to release an explosive statement on the peace deal, the Strait of Hormuz, nuclear negotiations and retaliation against the United States and Israel. And within hours, the Assembly's own secretariat publicly rebuked them for it. In an institution that almost never says anything publicly, two official contradictory statements dropped in the same day. That does not.
As we can see, people, I'm not sure if you caught that. We'll go back to it right here. The actual full title, Iran Facing Civil War. Iran leaders turn against their own leaders in assembly over peace deal. Now, as we all know, the U.S. with Trump, J.D. Vance, and the delegates have been flying overseas to try to get this peace deal done. Right now, we are currently in a state of MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. And there's been some small skirmishes back and forth, the IRGC attacking shipping vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, or the Hormuz Strait, as Trump likes to say, as I recall. And so the U.S. retaliates, and of course, I believe the IRGC states that, hey, we control this area, baby. So nonetheless, that's what's going on. But anyways, again, this is from the Daily Jargon, and let's continue.
What happened in Iran until now. So let's break down exactly what was in that statement and why it is so significant. More than 60 of the Assembly's 84 members signed and published a document that went way beyond anything this body normally does. They thanked Iran's negotiators but warned them to learn from what they called the failures of previous talks. They said following Supreme Leader Mujtaba Khamenei's red line is a religious obligation and that crossing them is not permissible under any circumstances. They described reopening the Strait of Hormuz while Israeli operations continue in Lebanon as a strategic error. They said Iran's nuclear rights must be excluded from any negotiations entirely whatsoever, and then came the most explosive passage of all. The statement called for those responsible for killing Ali Khamenei, specifically naming the US President and Israeli Prime Minister to be punished. And it said that anyone with access to them has a religious duty to act against them. That is an extraordinary thing for a formal clerical body to put in writing. Now, here is what makes this even more dramatic. The Assembly of Experts almost never does this. This is a body known for infrequent formal sessions, ritual expressions of support for the leadership, and operating almost entirely behind closed doors. It has one primary constitutional function. It appoints the Supreme Leader, and it theoretically has the power to oversee and even remove one. That last part is something that almost never gets discussed openly inside Iran, but the fact that this body of all bodies is now publicly clashing internally over Mujtaba Khamenei's red lines, over who gets to define them, and over the peace deal negotiations is a signal that something significant is shifting inside the Islamic Republic's highest clerical establishment. The Assembly's Presidium and Secretariat responded within hours, and they reaffirmed support for Mujtaba Khamenei, but they also issued what amounted to a direct rebuke of the manner in which the statement has been released. They said it was unprecedented for a group of members to publish a statement under the Assembly's name without going through official procedures. They argued that positions should come through the full Assembly, its chairman, or the Secretariat, and they called for broader internal discussion.
Okay, so there we have it, folks. We're not going to play the whole entire video, but that was good enough information. Again, let's see if you can see it. The channel is the Daily Jargon. Iran facing civil war. Iran leaders turn against their own leaders in assembly over peace deal. Now, from what she was stating, she was saying that the clerics pretty much issued out that, hey, from the USA side of things, if you are, from what it seems like to me, at least the kind of, if you're close to Trump and you're part of their religion, you're part of them, believe what they say, then hey, you got to take action because they took out our leader. So that's what she's saying right there. That's what they put it in paper, and she's saying it must be true. Why would you say that? Because the clerics are usually pretty straight on their laws and rules and things they usually do and accustomed to. And this isn't something that they normally usually do, but they're putting it in writing right here and now. But anyways, so take that as you may. Hopefully nobody acts upon those statements or calls for action, I guess you could say is what they are. But nonetheless, we see there's a little bit of skirmish going on of who has the leadership, full control over who gets to give the orders, what kind of plan gets to go in place and policy. So they're having a back and forth between that as well. But nonetheless, we could look a little bit further down and we can see there's a new update. I have seen a little earlier about some assassinations happening, so we'll also check those out. But for right now, we will check out what she has to say next. Now, before we get started checking out the next one, it is Iran secretly planning to dissolve IRGC. Now, she gave some good information on the last one, so we got to see what she got to say this time. Now, when it says secretly planning, are they talking about the people of Iran or just like the clerics, which I guess you could say could be considered part of the IRGC, I guess, what level, or I don't fully understand all that just yet. But or is it just the personnel within the IRGC working with Iran, trying to backdoor? What's going on? Let's see what she says and decode it from the Middle East, I perceive. Um, Again, just from the Daily Jargon. Let's see what they have to say. Then we're going to check out if there's anything we can possibly post and jot and track on World of Streams. We will test it out and we'll show you that. But until then, let's see what she has to say this particular video.
Iran's most feared military force, the deadly IRGC, might be getting dismantled, not by America, not by Israel, but by Iran's own government from the inside. Hello and welcome. I am Radhika Dhavat, and this is one of the most explosive claims to come out of Iran in months. A political researcher just went on to a major Iranian podcast by Iran International and said, with what he described as full awareness, that the systematic dissolution of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, is currently being pursued from within the Islamic Republic itself. If true, this is not a minor policy.
Is it a coup? Is it a coup?
Talk of dismantling the single most powerful military and ideological institution in Iran, the organization that controls massive missile programs, proxy militias across the region, and a massive share of Iran's economy. So let us break down exactly what was said, what dissolving the IRGC would mean, and what it actually could do to a country already at war. Now, here is exactly what political researcher Mehdi Khorashian said on the Iranian podcast.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, the title is Iran secretly planning to dissolve IRGC. What happens to Iran war and Mojaba Khamenei's powers? We're going to see. We're going to see what information they have, what opinions, speculation, facts. Let's see what they got. And we'll see if there's anything we need to jot down with World of Streams. With World of Streams, I'm going to try to only log and track information based off of direct or area of locations with incidents to happen. Right now, they're just kind of just discussing and going over. But we'll see if any incidents happen, then we'll go forward and go from there.
He said that even a single threat, if it goes too far, would be considered a violation of an agreement. He then said something very striking. He said dissolution of the IRGC is being pursued inside Iran, and he wanted people to understand he was not speculating. He said it is systematic and that the dissolution is currently being pursued in some circles within the government. That phrase, in some circles, suggests this is not a single rogue voice. It suggests there is an actual faction inside Iran's political establishment actively working towards dismantling the IRGC.
Woo! So I hear that, ladies and gentlemen. So it does seem like, and I've heard this over the months, that Just wait, just wait. They are just waiting for the right moment to strike and start the process and start to take over. As she said, it seems like it's in process. So we're going to pause right here, right now. We're going to check out one of the other videos I had seen, something talking about assassination. Then we'll come back to this to see if there's and continue to see if they cover something that overlaps. Because that's what we're going to do on Be Well Informed. We're taking stuff from here, from there, from everywhere, people. Now let's go.
Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're watching from today. I'm filming this on June 30th. All information is up to date as of June 30th, and we have big news out of Iran as a major Iranian IRGC leader has been killed in mysterious circumstances, possibly assassinated. On top of that, we have more reports of violent clashes between the IRGC and anti-government forces inside Iran as the situation continues to spiral out of control. On top of that, there are negotiations or alleged negotiations that possibly could be happening in Qatar today, although both sides saying very different things. And we have President Donald Trump making comments about the situation on the ground as well. So we got a lot to break down. Before we get into it, please make sure to like and subscribe. Huge boost to the channel. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think is responsible for killing this Iranian leader? Was it an assassination? Was it truly an accident? Let me know in the comments below. Hit the notification bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a thing. And then Instagram, David_Hookstead, XD Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are wide open. Reach out with any tips you got or to just say hello. Now let's get into it. So I'm going to start by putting this up on the screen right away. This is a release from the Iranian government confirming the death of a major IRGC leader.
And just so you know, the title is Breaking. Major Iran leader killed. Intense fighting erupts. This is from David Hookstead, uh, YouTube channel. So go check him out. Anyways, again, we gathered information before we see it, and I saw this. I had to bookmark it to come back to it. And from earlier, as we seen, again, from the Daily Jargon, Iran secretly planning to dissolve IRGC, and now we see Iran leader killed. So it's IRGC saying, hold on, y'all ain't finna disrupt nothing. So anyways, without further ado, let's continue.
One of the people responsible for shutting down the Strait of Hormuz and continuing to bomb ships in the Strait of Hormuz has been killed. So this is an announcement. It says Deputy of the Velat Fiqh Supreme Leader's Representative Office in the IRGC Navy died a few hours ago in a road accident after his vehicle overturned on a road in Kerman province. The leader killed was Rear Admiral Mohammad Akbarzadeh. Mohammad Akbarzadeh is one of the most powerful people in the IRGC, one of the most powerful people in all of Iran running the IRGC Navy, specifically responsible for shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranians are now saying that he died in a car accident, but I'm not sure anyone's going to believe this is a true car accident.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
The United States, Israel, other nations often do during ceasefires or slowdowns in kinetic operations. They go to the black ops world. We saw this happen all the time before the war with the mysterious explosions, mysterious fires, things of that nature. Now, the Iranian government claimed all of that was due to gas leaks. We now know that that was simply not true. Those were clandestine and covert operations. Now we're finding out, as of June 30th, the man responsible for overseeing the closure of the Strait of Hormuz and overseeing the bombing of ships attempting to enter or exit the Strait of Hormuz has died in a mysterious car crash. Does anyone believe that it was truly a car accident? I personally, in my opinion, this reads more like the signs of a targeted killing, a targeted assassination. But I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. Comment just accident.
Well, we'll give our quick take. We'll just read what it says on the post. Um, the deputy of the Valiant Fahi, Supreme Leader, representative of office in the IRGC Navy, died a few hours ago in a road accident after his vehicle overturned on a road in Kerman province, Iran. Now, turned over, didn't say crashed, didn't say ran off the road and flipped, ran down the hill, just vehicle overturned on the road. Was he speeding and hit the curve and it overturned that way? That's the only other way I can really think of, anything less of an accident and getting slammed into it, which they don't mention. So yeah, it's kind of suspicious. Was it hit with a missile? Was it fired upon? What happened? How did his car get overturned? His vehicle. So we'll see. We'll see if he discusses that and goes over further.
Or was it done on purpose, and who is responsible? The CIA, Mossad, someone else? Let me know in the comments below. But the fact that this guy is dead is a huge, huge blow to the Iranian regime, again, because this is the equivalent of taking out like the head of the U.S. Navy. This would be the equivalent of taking out a major official. This guy was responsible for all the carnage and chaos we have seen in the Strait of Hormuz. And then all of a sudden, he dies in what the Iranians are simply calling nothing more than a car accident. I might have been born at night. I wasn't born last night. This is how covert targeted operations work. They could have planted a bomb. They could have done something else. There might not have been a car accident at all. He might just have been straight up killed in the Iranian.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I figured it out. Let's go to World of Streams WOSTR. Let's check out the platform. We're going to log and jot down where this leader was or where he had this accident at. We're just going to quick log it and that's it. So without further ado, once again, let's go check out the platform WOSTR, World of Streams. So we are here. This is the home page. Just a quick rundown. World of Streams. It's a platform to gather information, request information, video, and whatnot. We're testing it out, giving it a test run. So let's check out the app itself. You just want to have a quick look at the main page, whatnot. Not much there. But anyways, let's jump right on the app. So actually, it does have an update section. And looks like they'll be having little tests and stuff like that. So let's see, Kerman province. Now this is going to be nice, easy, and slow, but we'll get it done, folks. We'll get it done. All right, Kerman is Kerman province. Obviously Iran. So let me just search. So this platform allows, so since it's fully loaded, allows for, it's a 3D environment. So let me go over and fully, just to go over quick. WOSTR, World of Streams app, is an interactive 3D web interface that allows for geolocation-based information, data consuming, and producing. Well, we're going to use it for logging and tracking right now. We're not really producing any information. But anyways, we're going to use it for tracking. So We have, what was it called? Kerman Province? Kerman Province, okay. Province. I spelled that. Let's just see if we can find it. Oh, there we go, people. Let's actually we will create um so just a quick rundown with this platform. You can create what's called info pins, and you drop a pin and create information for that location. So we're just going to do that right here. We will call this so Admiral. Let me type it. Let me get a notepad or something. So this is the part that's going to be a little slow, but as we do this live, this is how the platform works: information gathering, tracking, whatever you need to do, and you can stream that information later. What is all this? It's like a. In the meantime, actually, we'll continue playing what the Daily Jargon was saying, because it's kind of fitting now. Here we have an instance where an IRGC, leader, like he said, I'll be like taken out, like the head of like the Navy in the U.S. is just taken out. So doesn't seem like it was any accident. Looks like what this title states right here: Iran secretly planning to dissolve the IRGC. See, I had it backwards. I was thinking when it said Iran leader killed, I'm thinking within the Iranian government, not IRGC in particular. But no, it's the IRGC, a person who was causing a lot of havoc for the most part in the Strait of Hormuz as far as it being closed and attacks and things of that nature. So let's continue her play.
Now, to understand why this claim is so massive, you need to understand what exactly the IRGC actually is. It is not a normal branch of Iran's military, viewers. It was created after the 1979 revolution specifically to protect the Islamic Republic's political system, separate from and parallel to Iran's regular armed forces. Over the decades, it has grown into something far bigger than a military force. It controls Iran's ballistic missile program. It oversees the Quds Force, which manages Iran's network of regional proxy militias, including groups in Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, and Yemen. It controls a massive share of Iran's economy, with stakes in construction, telecommunication.
All right, so we got this name. We're typing it in right now. All right, so we'll call this one Real Admiral Mohammad. Wait. What's going on here? Hold on. I done messed that all up. I don't know how that happened. Abazadeh. I somehow I wrote province in there. I don't know what I was thinking there. But let's see. Glad I caught that. You know what? Killed, and then we'll put INK for unknown reason. Actually, we'll just put killed or died in vehicle. We'll just call it. Gosh dang it. All right. We'll actually put this as a med kit. Yeah. So okay. So we have it right there. So Rear Admiral Mohammad Akbar. We'll just put a pin there. And what this allows us to do, let's reset the globe. Let's put that out the way. So what that allows us to do is now we have an information pin on the globe for that location. And then we can zoom in on it, whatever you want to do, but we can click on our tab or our button, and then we'll be able to see our pin, and we'll be able to see the information that it is. Now, for me, or for this, you can also create doc streams. What this is it allows you to create a document, which allows you to add information, add more details. You even have the ability to add pin boards. So actually, we'll create one right now. We're going to call this killed. We'll put his name. Well, that's not his full name. Let me grab his full name. Put a question mark because we don't know if he's been killed. Oops. Generate. Ooh, look at that long name. Let me go in and let me edit that. Let's just put you know what? Let's just do this. Leader killed 01. We'll change it later. All right, cool. Much better. So with this, we can add extra information, but right now we won't do that. We're just going to continue with the story. But anyways, as you can see, this nice little interactive 3D map what allows for geolocation-based information gathering, generating, consuming, producing. And I guess right now you can say we're producing information. But anyways, let's continue with the story.
Don't want to admit it, so they're just saying it was a car accident. Now, on top of that, we've had more and more reports of clashes internally, violent clashes leading to the deaths of IRGC officials, Iranian forces, things of that nature. Shin reporting reporting last night, clashes between the Kurdish groups and IRGC forces and Kermanshah province, casualties amongst IRGC elements reported. So as of me filming this, the Kurdish elements inside Iran are continuing their violent actions, violent clashes against the IRGC. Now, people thought this might start right when the war started on February 28th. It is now June 30th, and we are now for several days in a row getting reports of clashes between the Kurds and the IRGC, which shows that there are fractures within Iran that are finally starting to result in, I got to choose my words carefully here on YouTube, but are finally resulting in the IRGC being targeted, which is a good sign. This comes, I showed this in a previous video, but the regime is very worried about these clashes. How do we know that? They are now setting up security checkpoints all around Tehran to control who can come in and out. Why are they doing that? They do not want the anti-government forces making it all the way to Tehran. They are trying to restrict access, to restrict who can come in, to keep the violent clashes isolated to the best of their ability. Speaking of violent clashes, I-24 News reporting that Israel is preparing for an immediate resumption of military operations against Iran. They are preparing to resume the bombing at any moment without American assistance. Excuse me. They are getting ready to go in on their own to continue the bombing campaign against the Iranian regime. Now, if Israel goes in alone, will Iran respond against American targets and drag America back into the war? I would guarantee just about anything that if Israel bombs Iran, Iran will respond against U.S. military locations, because in the eyes of the Iranian government, Israel and the United States are not separate actors. They are one actor. One is responsible for the other. Thus, you can expect U.S. military positions to be targeted. Now, this is very fascinating. It says Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz warned Monday that Israel could be at war with Iran tomorrow if Tehran fires missiles at Israeli territory. Katz saying if Iran fires missiles at Israel, Israel will strike Iran with force. There is no equation we will accept in which Iran fires at Israel. He said the IDF has been ordered to prepare for an independent Israeli operation and is on alert with targets ready. So again, the Israelis are ready to roll. Stick with me here. We got more updates with negotiations where things are going to get very murky. But first, Iran's deputy foreign minister saying Iran opposes and will try to obstruct any vessels transiting through Pass and Hormuz that are not specified by Tehran. So right now, the Iranians are yet again vowing to bomb any ship in the Strait of Hormuz that does not pay the toll, that does not move through Iranian waters. This is what we have seen late last week when multiple ships were blown up and bombed, resulting in the United States having to come back in and launch airstrikes. So we have a situation now where Iran continues to vow that they are going to continue to blow up ships. Let's talk about the negotiations. So there's supposed to be negotiations today in Qatar between the Iranians and the United States of America. However, Iran is adamant that no such negotiations are taking place, with Iran's foreign ministry.
All right, that's about it right for that there, folks. Wow, interesting. So it does seem like there are skirmishes happening, a lot of craziness happened with the conflicts, and looks like to be true, as the lady stated earlier. Looks like Iran are starting to have little conflicts with the IRGC. We're starting to see IRGC leaders taken out once again. Now the Kurds are actually actively combating, having little conflict skirmishes here and there against the IRGC. We know back earlier in the year, the Kurds wanted to get in there and get action and get going. Trump said, because y'all come in, gonna be dead bodies everywhere. So Trump told them no. And also, I believe the Kurds, we sent them some weapons so they can, help arm some of the Iranian people. And I think the Kurds just kept it for themselves. So, but anyways, maybe Trump said, you know what? Go ahead, guys. Let's get it done. We're ready. But anyways, let's see if we can find any more other news that we can check out that's similar to this particular story. We'll actually go back to the Daily Jargon and see if we can possibly play a little bit more of her, and then we'll just have it in the background playing. We'll also show a video every once in a while.
And energy, and ideologically it is considered one of the most loyal and hard-line defenders of the Islamic Republic's founding principles, and dissolving it would not just be a military reform, viewers, it would be one of the most consequential political acts in the history of the Islamic Republic. Now, how could something like this even be dissolved is the question. Well, realistically, there are few possible paths. It could happen through a formal restructuring where the IRGC is gradually folded into Iran's regular armed forces, stripping it of its independent command structure and, most importantly, special status under the Constitution. It could happen through a slower, quieter approach where its funding is cut, its leadership replaced with more moderate figures, and its powers transferred piece by piece to other institutions, effectively hollowing it out without ever announcing a formal dissolution. And given that Qurashian specifically used the word systematic rather than describing a single decree or announcement, the second scenario, a quiet internal restructuring rather than a dramatic.
All right, that's it for that, folks. Now I'm gonna bring it back. Oh, hold on. All right, I had it playing in the background, the video. But we're gonna bring this video back on actually, I mainly want to show. I was just searching, and I didn't really see too many. He's the first one that pops up, the one we just looked at from David Hookstead, uh, major Iran leader killed. Other than that, 5 months ago, 2 months ago, 16 hours ago, I just clicked on this one. We're going to check that out for a little bit. This one is from OneIndia News. Not too much about the current. One being taken out by either accident or. So there's not much news about it. Maybe they're still just trying to verify confirmation, but I don't see much talk about it anywhere. Matter of fact, let's do the best thing we can do. We know his name. Let's just type him in and see. Agents of Info. This is what we do. This is what we do. We have to search and look, and sometimes verify. But I just want to see who's talking about it. All right, 2 people, one's parties, and that's it. Okay. No, I don't see too much stories about it, but sometimes they just don't talk about stuff.
A sudden death. A scene.
Iranian state-affiliated Intekbak News reports that Rear Admiral Mohammad Akbarzadeh, a senior political deputy, Supreme Leader Representative in the IRGC Navy, died in a road accident in the Kerman province when his vehicle overturned. Vehicle overturned. We're going to go right back to WOSTR. We got something to jot down. Y'all probably can't see it, fool. Let's go, fool. How was y'all able to see it? I was able to see it a little bit, I guess. Not too good, huh? Here we go, so you can see it better now. So if you couldn't see it earlier, this is the roster platform. We had actually created the stock stream. So we had did a little search, we add this info pin, and we just created some information for this location. But and we also created a doc stream. It's a document stream, so we can put more information inside of this location. But anyways, let's create a. Let's see. We need a. Actually, we don't need nothing. I wanted to edit this. That's what I wanted to do. So, oh, you know what? That's what I wanted to do. So on the doc stream, they have what you call doc tab, and we can add extra information. So this one we will do. We'll just put this as a statement. This is from Stock Bella. Brief details. Describing the all right, and we had what? Vehicle overturned, but still nobody explaining how it overturned. So, when did that happen? When was that? Yesterday? They said yesterday, yeah. Yeah, they said yesterday. We can come back and change it if we're not right. 2026. I don't know the time. Yeah, we know where it was, baby. Kerman province. I guess I don't need no comma. And we'll make this a medium size. And we'll keep it how it is. And there we go, folks. So it allows us to have quick access to information, to have quick ways to see what's going on with the particular story we're looking at, quick information, quick slide outs, things of nature. But anyways, let's continue to see what other, maybe somebody else has posts, information.
Senior Iranian
we can
military
jot down.
official, and a wave of speculation across social media. Rumors of an assassination have spread rapidly.
I see what this says. Reports from IRGC Mohammad was killed.
After the death of a top IRGC Navy commander. But so far, Iranian authorities say the evidence points to a traffic accident, not a target.
So, Shield of Truth stating that the IRGC Navy Political Affairs Deputy, he was killed, but the officials saying no external involvement suspected, meaning it was just a pure accident. So that's what they're saying. So let's actually, how am I gonna throw that in there? We'll just create another one that actually, we'll just say officials. It's an accident, so I guess the same description. Make this shorter. Accident statement. Ooh, we don't care about the date and time. We'll just put this as a different color. Do this as let's do that as orange. Because I don't really care about the date and time, exactly that. It's just a good statement we can have. Just so we can say, yeah, the IRGC said, yeah. So we have the information easy, ready, available. Anyways, let's continue.
Targeted killing. Questions are swirling in Iran following the death of Mohammad Akbarzadeh, the political deputy of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy. The senior IRGC official died after the vehicle he was traveling in overturned in Kerman province in southeastern Iran on Monday. The incident was first reported by the IRGC-affiliated Fars news agency, which said emergency responders reached the scene quickly.
What do y'all think, agents of info? What do y'all think? Any information you got? Was it an accident, or was this some kind of, some operation done to perfection? Let's see. I read International English. Interesting name. A political deputy commander in the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps Navy said on Tuesday, the United States is in a position of begging for an agreement with Iran because of the impact of regional developments and energy prices on Western economies, according to the official media. It's like reverse. Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps official Mohammad said the United States and Europe remain vulnerable to fuel prices, fluctuations, and instability in the region, describing this as leverage for Iran. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue. Nothing new there.
Quickly and transported Akbarzadeh to a nearby medical center. Despite medical efforts, he later died from severe injuries sustained in the
Again, this is a title, top IRGC Navy commander killed in car accident. Speculations fuel Mossad's hand amid tensions with U.S. This is from the YouTube channel OneIndia News. Go check them out. Anyways, let's continue.
crash. Iranian officials have not indicated any evidence of foul play. According to preliminary information, investigators are examining possible factors including vehicle speed and road conditions. No official findings have been released. However, Akbarzadeh's death quickly fueled speculation online. Posts on social media questioned whether the crash could have been something more than an accident, with some users alleging possible involvement by foreign intelligence agencies, including Israel's Mossad. At this stage, those claims remain unsubstantiated. Iranian authorities have not accused any foreign actor of involvement, and no evidence has been publicly presented to support assassination theories. Akbarzadeh served as the political deputy of the IRGC Navy, overseeing political education and coordinating military doctrine within one of Iran's most strategically important military branches. His responsibilities included strengthening political education and coordinating military doctrine within the naval force. He remained active during heightened regional tensions earlier this year, including the confrontation between Iran and the United States. Following his death, the IRGC released a statement describing him as a martyr of duty and praised his years of service to the Islamic Republic. Iran's supreme leader, Sayed Mujtaba Khamenei, also reportedly conveyed condolences to Akbarzadeh's family. The incident comes at a sensitive moment for Iran, as the country continues implementing its post-conflict recovery agenda while managing regional security challenges. Kerman Province has experienced periodic security incidents in recent years, although it is also known for difficult terrain and long stretches of highway where traffic accidents have occurred. Military analysts say Akbarzadeh's death is likely to trigger changes within the IRGC Navy's leadership structure. His position carried significant influence over the force's political direction and internal organization. For now, the official account remains that of a fatal vehicle accident, but with no final investigative report yet.
So we hear right there, folks. His death is going to cause major changes, more than likely, given the power and how much information that he knew that probably other people didn't know, the connections that he had that other people are probably unaware of, things of that nature, etc., etc. He does have or did have direct connection with Hamidi, so or current leader, So I mean, yeah. So there's going to be structural changes, but if you go back to earlier again, to where they discuss and they state from the Daily Jargon about Iran secretly planning to dissolve the IRGC. We see the assassinations that have happened, and we're seeing, well, that would be this person here, but we're seeing that it's possibly the case. Just chaos happening, infighting, and things of that nature.
Released,
We're going to
speculation continues to
tie it
circulate.
up pretty soon here.
Authorities say the investigation remains ongoing, and further details are expected once the inquiry is completed.
All right, so I can't really play that. I don't know if we get some copyright strike, but yeah. So let's go back to check World of Streams out. So all we have for this particular episode right now is IRGC leader killed. Was it an accident? Was it an inside job? Was it a work between personnel from Iran and external forces working together. We're not sure yet. It's just happened. It's early, but I'm sure we'll be finding out soon. But anyways, this is a test run with the new platform WOSTR, the new information gathering, tracking, producing, um, consuming platform. Uh, we're probably going to have a nice dive deep into this platform, probably a little later in the next video. But anyways, let's take a look at it and see what we have. On our basic information pin, we don't have much information on here, just Rear Admiral Mohammad died in the vehicle. That's all we know so far. This vehicle of return, not much more information. We created a doc stream that showcases not much information still. We still don't know much of anything. But anyways, we're just testing it out, running with it. Stay tuned for the next episode here on Be Well Informed, Agents of Info. Stay tuned, get involved. We'll check the site out. We'll have some good discussions about this stuff later. Anyways, if you got info, people, let other people know. Anyways, we'll come up with a good slogan later. That's horrible. I got one. If you got good info, I ain't got nothing to rhyme with info right now, ladies and gentlemen. We stuck. But we'll come up with one later. Sorry, I'm just looking at the just playing around a little bit. So yes, that's the first info pin on the site right now. We'll be coming back later, probably later today, probably in a little bit to check it. Wait, before we actually go, let's do one more go around to see if there's any extra information on this particular leader getting killed. In the meantime, I guess we'll just continue playing this one.
Has one of Iran's most powerful military commanders been killed in a suspected Israeli strike inside Tehran? That's the question dominating headlines and social media as unconfirmed reports swirl around IRGC commander Ahmad Wahidi. According to Iranian opposition media and online sources, Ahmad Wahidi may have been among the targets of recent explosions and suspected airstrikes reported in the Iranian capital. The reports claim the senior IRGC commander could have been killed during the latest wave of attacks, but there is currently no official confirmation from Iran, Israel, or independent international agencies. The speculation intensified because Wahidi had reportedly issued strong warnings against Israel earlier in the day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to type right there for that particular video. This one again was top IRGC Navy commander killed in car accident. Speculation fuel Mossad's hand amid tension with U.S. from OneIndia News. I found two more videos. We're going to quickly skim over those, see if there's any other information we can gather. One of them sort of a little bit different. Actually, they both kind of are, but they sort of similar in the sense of what they're dealing with. Let's see. play all this music. Come on, mute down. Oh, it's gonna count.
Iran Northwest has once again become the scene of fighting after the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, announced a major counter-terrorism operation along the border regions. According to Iran authorities, IRGC ground forces confronted and dismantled what they described as an armed terrorist cell operating in the mountainous areas near Mohammad and Piranshar in West Azerbaijan province, close to the Iraqi border. The IRGC said several militants were killed during the operation, while weapons, ammunition, and military equipment were seized. Iranian officials claimed the group was planning to destabilize the country's northwestern border regions and vowed what they called a decisive and firm northwestern border.
All right, people, this is IRGC confronts Israel-backed gunmen in massive standoff in Iran. 2 servicemen killed. From OneIndia News. Let's see what they say real quick. Deadly clashes have erupted in Iran after the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps confronted armed gunmen described by state media as Israel-backed in a major standoff. According to reports, the confrontation took place in a sensitive border region where security forces engage in intense fighting with armed militants. Iranian authorities say 2 servicemen were killed during the operation as the IRGC moved to dismantle the armed cell. Weapons and equipment were reportedly seized as the situation escalated. The incident highlights ongoing tensions in Iran's border provinces, where security operations against armed groups continue amid regional instability and rising geopolitical pressure. So they didn't really say exactly where. So we can't. I guess we can just do a. Well, let's watch this video. Maybe to get more details on the exact location, and we can maybe map it out on WOSTR. But in the meantime, yes, y'all can go on WOSTR. Y'all can go on there as well and add stuff as you need to. We'll all see the same stuff for the most part. Some stuff you can't see just because it's based on your personal information gathered and it's for yourself. But anyways, let's see what they say in the video right here. The Islamic State. We got it. Sahel province have released pictures and videos of the recent armed raid against the Nigerian junta armed base at N8. The attack resulted in 71 deaths, captured a lot of weapons. Where is this at? Let's check something out, people. Let's see if WOSTR can find this Sahel province. Let's see. Y'all think we're going to find this? Let's see. I don't know. I never heard it. I don't know if that's... How do we say that again? Okay, Sahel. All right, let's see. I mean, Burkina Faso. I mean, it did say Nigerian. So I don't know why that's up there. So we'll see what, maybe that's just.
Border regions and vowed what they called a decisive and firm response against any future armed activity. The operation, however, came at a heavy
Northwest Iran
cost. Iranian state media report that 4 members of the country's security forces were killed in the clashes. Separate reports also describe another attack in Kermanshah province, where 2 IRGC personnel.
Okay, I heard one.
Describe another attack in Kermanshah province, Separate reports also describe another attack in Kermanshah province.
Kermanshah province? I can't pick what she said. Kermanshah? I knew I'm not going to be able to spell it. Let's try. Let's try. Hold on, let's put CC on. Maybe closed caption to capture it.
Report that 4 members of the country's security forces were killed in the clashes. Separate reports also describe another attack in Kermanshah province.
Ah, Kermanshah. There we go. There we go, lady. Hey, that's what we do. To find it, just put on a closed caption and it will show. Let's matter of fact, where is the, you should be able to see transcribe somewhere. Maybe if I do this. Oops, nope, that's not what I wanted. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. We are figuring this out. We're going to be good to go. All right, that's the button I want right there. All right. Okay, there's no transcribe. Okay, there go transcript. Okay, just kind of just here on it. Oh, there it goes. So so okay, good. So the first attack was in the Mohammad and Paranar in West. Goodness gracious. Oh, good, I can copy it. There we go. Woo. About to say, I gotta type that out. All right, so it looks like there's these small conflicts. So going back to the skirmishes that um that was being talked about on David Hookstead when he stated that the Kurds were going in and fighting as well, causing chaos. Are those Kurds being backed by Israel or the US or just doing it on their own? Remember earlier I stated that maybe Trump said, go ahead, guys, go ahead and do what you do to the Kurds. Or maybe Israel said, you know what, we got this, Kurds, let's go. So we're not sure yet, but it is in this area. We're not even sure if it's well, they don't
Welcome to
say
the video, everybody. It's June 30th, 2020.
they don't say who the I don't need to pause that. Don't actually say who the militants were in particular, not yet at least. Maybe they don't know. But let's see if we can get this. That must have just been like earlier story. They didn't switch off the story yet. Let's see if we can let's just see if we can just search. Because I have no clue about any of these locations. My computer's like, no, we're gonna go super slow. Look at that. It's probably gonna have so many places. Okay, now here we go. All right, let's see. Yep, right here, West. West, right? what's the province? Azerbaijan. Oops. Yep, here we go. We got it. We got it, folks. Bam. We'll create another document for this one. It's not going to be the same as the other one. So let's create another info pin. And here we will put, let's see. Oops, they need to be caps. Right there. And then we'll just do that. We ain't charging for no information people, not for this. This ain't nothing I gathered on my own, nothing that but the beauty about this is you can charge is how you want to charge it. Obviously. But anyways, just add that info pin. Wait a minute, pin type. We'll just do an I. Well, people did die. So we'll put a med kit. So we got that there. So there's no correlation between that particular incident and the just reset globe. That particular incident and between this other incident over here. Two separate incidents, so but we just put the between the Admiral bomb killed and this one right here. So actually, okay, yeah. And there was actually
Mantled, they describe as an armed terrorist cell operating in the mountainous areas near Mohammad and Piranshar, in West Azerbaijan province, close to the Iraqi border. The IRGC says several militants were killed during the operation, while ammunition and military equipment were seized. Iranian officials claimed the group was planning to destabilize the country's northwestern border region and that what they called a decisive and firm response against any future armed activity. The action, however, came at a heavy cost. Iranian state media report that four members of the country's security forces were killed in the clashes. Separate reports also describe another attack in Kermanshah.
I don't see my pin. Where'd you go, buddy? Maybe somehow I got stuck. Reload that bad boy.
To IRGC were killed and 2 others wounded in what officials call terrorist shootings. Violence highlights the continuing security challenges facing Iran, its Kurdish-populated border regions, where clashes between Iranian security forces and armed Kurdish groups have continued for years. Iranian authorities frequently accuse these groups of continued security challenges, where 2 IRGC of the country's security forces were killed in the clashes.
So they said 4 killed earlier,
while
2 killed
weapons,
at 6.
ammunition, and military equipment were seized. Iranian officials claim
Let's go back and see it.
forces confronted and dismantled what they described as an armed terrorist cell operating in the mountainous areas near Mohammad and Piranshar in West Azerbaijan province, close to the Iraqi border. The IRGC says several militants were killed during the operation, while weapons, ammunition, and military equipment were seized. Iranian officials claimed the group was planning to destabilize the country's northwestern border regions and vowed a decisive and firm response against any future armed activity. The operation, however, came at a heavy cost. Iranian state media report that 4 members of the country's security forces were killed in clashes. Separate reports also describe another attack in Kermanshah province, where 2 IRGC personnel were killed and 2 others wounded in what officials called a terrorist shooting. The violence highlights the continuing security challenges facing Iran in its Kurdish-populated border regions, where clashes between Iranian security forces and armed Kurdish groups have continued for years. Iranian authorities frequently accuse these groups of separatism and receiving foreign backing, describing them as a threat to national security. On the other hand, Kurdish opposition organizations portray the fighting as resistance against Iranian government forces and often dispute Tehran's casualty figures, claiming security force losses are higher than officially acknowledged. Because access to these remote border areas is limited, many details remain difficult to independently verify, and casualty numbers vary depending on the source. The latest clashes come at a particularly sensitive time as Iran continues to navigate heightened regional tensions following recent military confrontations in the Middle East. Security operations in the country's western and northwestern provinces remain on high alert, with the IRGC signaling that further operations could follow if armed groups continue cross-border activities. For now, authorities say the immediate operation has concluded, but the broad security situation along Iran's northwestern frontier remains tense, with the potential for further confrontations in the days ahead.
Subscribe to OneIndia and never miss an update. Download the OneIndia app now.
So we got that logged on there. So we also had another attack with 2 other people were killed. So we'll put that on there too as soon as we get that location.
We are joined
again.
once again by University of Chicago professor Robert Page of the Isolation Trap Substack. If you're not following by now, you are missing.
Now what we about trying to list around, and it didn't go there. You know, it's going so slow. We'll just continue that later, that one part. Let's go check out this video, the last one for this particular story, related to Iran. See what comes up.
Marine Expeditionary Unit for Akbarzadeh, the biggest battle marine unit in the region that's locked, loaded, ready to rock. Basically, all the guys that she told you not to worry about in one unit. And this unit's definitely not just a personal trainer, if you mean. So let's rewind for a second, because while the smoke was still clearing on the strikes that took place over the last 72 hours, where the U.S. hit 10 Iranian military targets, 2 of them fresh built, the IRGC already on state radio promising payback as they do. They said if the violation is repeated, our response will be more extensive than this. Yeah, I think they're stealing some of my YouTube bills at this point. But that's not diplomatic.
This is Iran's mullahs won't make a deal, so here's what happens next by Max Afterburner. Let's just see if this has anything to do with saying there's going to be infighting or start taking out leaders or whatnot. Let's see what Max Afterburner has to say.
Talking. That's a guy holding a grudge and holding Shahed 136 drones at the same time. But here's the stack on the radar today that we need to talk about. F-35Bs flying off the U.S. Tripoli with the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit. All of these integrate seamlessly with F-15Es, F-16 Wild Weasels working the suppression layer. So you've got fifth-generation stealth fighters and F-35B that can take off on short field and land vertically and carry massive amounts of ordnance and do it all while just hovering back to the deck of these amphibious assault force ships. These are already staged in the Persian Gulf area, ready to go should at some point that switch be flipped and the U.S. decides to do some amphibious operations. Or even these land strikes could be 35Bs as well. The amphibious operations is really where the Marine Expeditionary Unit shines, as well as advanced drone technology, small drones, large drones. Basically, I look at the Marine Expeditionary Unit like the entrepreneurs of warfare. Very proud of this Marine Expeditionary Unit. And then you add in Marine Recon, and yeah, it's been a bad day for the IRGC. And then think about Karg Island. We know that there's been some rumors, there's been some posts from President Trump saying that Karg Island could be on the board to be taken. So what's the strategy there? What would it look like? What would taking down a target on Karg Island look like?
And Trump did state that Karg Island could just be taken. He said that was some thought ties, because if they don't get this stuff straightened up. So as you see, I believe he's using a nice map software as well. I believe. Let's check out and see what he got to say. I believe that's, what's that, Car? Okay, that's Car Island right there. Okay, cool.
Occupying Karg Island. It's 16 miles off of the coast of Iran, so it obviously complicates some things, and we're going to get into all that. But by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly why Marines parked off the coast of Iran might be the loudest diplomatic statement that Washington made during this entire conflict. And then stick around for the roundup section, because we're going to be talking about UFOs. Yeah, there's a mother orb that's launching other orb UFOs, and that's happening right now. I'm going to talk about all the latest information on that. That's about 3/4 of the way through the video. So basically, Iran wants the world to believe the Strait of Hormuz is back open for business on their terms. The Marine Expeditionary Unit is about to sit Iran down and explain them by print. Now I want to hop to the imagery and show you some of the targets that the Marine Expeditionary Unit can hit. And it's not just Karg Island, even though Karg Island is a part of that.
Okay, let's check out Karg Island here. Look at some of the different sites that the MEU could go in and just absolutely decimate. Now, I'm not saying it's the most strategic route to go, because there's a lot of different options, right? Occupying a territory that's 16 or so miles from Iran, probably not the most strategic, but quick strikes could happen. Certain areas could be controlled, despite Iran wanting the U.S. to have boots on the ground so that they can have sitting ducks to hit, right? But there's so many different vulnerabilities around here. I mean, look at what Iran has done to Karg Island. A lot of it's based on keeping away different elements of the U.S. military, right? They've got a launch vehicle right here. A lot of these would be easily targeted by the F-35B off the Marine Expeditionary Unit. Also, Zulu helicopter having the ability to target a lot of this. We've got a Mezzo 1 AAA. That is a surface air gun that Iran try to use to target aircraft and other craft coming in, dropping off Marines, hovercraft, things like that. I mean, there's just so many different options in a toolkit of Marine Expeditionary Unit. But as you can see, Iran has radar sites, comms towers integrated into a lot of the different parts of Karg Island, because this is a piggy bank. This is where they're actually getting money from. 90%, I believe, of Iranians' export comes from Karg Island. So that's just massive. So it kind of gives an idea of Karg. You can see a lot of the different places where the ports are. They have dual use. They have civilian vessels, and if we zoom in here, looks like an IRGC and naval dock here as well. You can see some fast attack craft. Again, yeah, it's just a civilian dock. Yeah, these all look like military usage right here. A lot of these big ones have gone away, but these are the fast attack craft that are likely being used to still harass ships in the Strait of Hormuz. And then I want to take you to this other area. It's Bandar Abbas. Bandar Abbas is another port. It's a main naval port. So when I think of what the Marine Expeditionary Unit could do, a lot of it centers around Bandar Abbas, in my opinion, because you can just see how much military infrastructure is here. A lot of strikes have happened here as well, by the way. They've got a hovercraft base over here, and then they've got helicopter bases. They've got the ability to protect these with a leave. It will protect them. Surface to air missiles. They've got those sites up here. These are some larger sites up there because they want to target aircraft from further out because the site is so sensitive. Now, when you look at the runway, look at the hovercraft base, you can see the hovercraft units here that Iran has. So these likely would be struck down, but these are areas that house the IRGC Navy.
So it looks like he's pretty much going over, hey, no deal made. He's showing all the structures that are still in place. I don't know if these maps are like, I mean, they could be current. I don't know how the intel and all that works with that. But it looks like, so this has nothing to do as far as looks like the, infighting, but if a deal is not done, which I guess it has something to do with it, because the infighting has to do with the deals being done and whatnot, but, so we'll see what else he says, what other locations, and we'll probably end it. We're not gonna watch the full thing, we're not trying to just copy the whole thing over. Again, if you wanna check it out, this is Max Afterburner. The title, Iran mullahs won't make a deal, so here's what happens next.
Naval special operators. So areas like this could be hit as well. Just strike down all the different elements of the dudes that are getting on the fast attack craft and that are controlling the drones, but they're probably controlling drones from up in the center parts of the country as well. And then I wanted to show you guys this. This is a SAM site, so surface to air missile site just off Bandar Abbas. This one stands out like a you-know-what in sweatpants when you look at it from a radar, though. As a fighter pilot myself, I would love this target. It's a juicy target right here. Again, I had to drop the fact that I'm a pilot. It took me a while into the video. I think we're, 5-6 minutes in. I had to say it, okay? It was eating me alive. I didn't say that I was a pilot yet.
But you can see some underground bunker sites. These SAM sites are just really easy to spot. But this gives you an idea of some of the targets that the Marine Expeditionary Unit might be called in to crush. And I would say likely on their fast attack assaults right now, pending ready to go should that call come to strike from just like this.
Okay, so there's the target imagery. Look at what Marines could take down. But now let's talk about the sequencing of what happened and how these Marines might be called in. Iran's IRGC, we know that they hit 2 different ships in this moves over the last 72 hours. And then the U.S. struck back, Iran launched missiles, and the U.S. struck down 10 military targets, including those newly built sites that Iran built to try to harass ships in the Strait of Hormuz. But mainly, Iran was given a chance to honor the ceasefire agreement, but elected not. And now, there's actually consequences when they do that. It's kind of a novel theory, right? There should be consequences to mafia bosses. So it's great to see that that's happening. But now President Trump and his envoys are saying that the talks are happening in Doha today. And then Iran's own deputy foreign minister is publicly saying that the meeting is unconfirmed. Even the president said this from the Oval Office. He said the meeting in Doha is going to be perhaps important, perhaps not. We're going to find out. So when it comes to Iran and the guys running the country can't even promise to be at their own meeting, that's not the...
So we'll add this to the world issues method. So I guess I didn't mention on the World Streams app, you go to the what you call it page, so you can see it in text. This the WOSTR application, the interface is based off of what we call profile types, and the profile types dictate the use case and how you're going to use the site. In a particular case, we have our own profile type on WOSTR. Again, WOSTR is World of Streams, and it provides interactive 3D web interface for particular use cases. And our profile type on WOSTR is called WO Informed. That's WO Informed, which means we are World of Informed. Yeah.
Diplomacy, it's basically a psycho doing a coin flip, but in this case, there's missiles attached to the coin flip on both sides. But now let's picture the problem that CENTCOM has solved twice in 1 week, and how the Marine Expeditionary Unit is a huge part of that. So a hostile coastline right now in Iran, southern Iran, is bristling with mobile radars, mine-laying boats, drone storage hardened against first strikes. They're carrying much everything they can underground and underground storage facilities. And all of it is sitting inside an active shipping lane that 20% of the world's energy flows through. So we know F-16 Wild Weasels, those are the door kickers. They go in F-15E Strike Eagles, naval strike packages, teamed up with the Marine Expeditionary Unit strike packages. ISR is a huge thing that the Marine Expeditionary Unit does. MQ-9 Reapers, helicopters, other advanced drones that can be flown off those amphibious assault ships. So ISR is one of the biggest things that the Marines don't get credit for. It could be the unglamorous side of things when it comes to the strikes that we've seen.
All right, so that's it for now, folks. Again, he's just going over possible next actions that could be taken if there's no deal or if it all falls apart. But since we got a little bit of information there, we're going to put some else in information. We did not create a doc string for this pin right here. We might in the next video if something else pops up, but for right now, we'll keep it right there. All right, so let's create a, we'll call this one let's call this MOU Talks. Like this in here, space ain't working on there. We are unsure. At least we'll keep it like that. This guy stating the U.S. and the IRGC continue the talks to peace. As of now, it seems we are unsure. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Ace of info, is that good? We'll put that with the eye, the evil eye, the truth, baby. Let's go and place that manually. So, if you see me clicking this manual placement button, you see it? Probably not. There you go. You see it good. If you see me place this manual placement button, check it. It's because this side is check this. You're placing a pin without active GPS. Quick references. This site is based off location and it's verifiable information based off of certain criteria. So if your GPS isn't active and you place an info pin, then you have to place it manually, meaning your GPS isn't active, but you'll go back later and verify it via other means. If you never verify it or if you place it without clicking this here, your pin goes straight to Mars, baby, and it won't be on Earth for anybody to see. Now you'll be able to check it out, but now unverified location-based pins go to Mars. But anyways, add this info pin. There we go. So we just call this one MOU talks. We don't know, so we'll see. But we'll wrap it up right there, ladies and gentlemen. We got a little taste, a little bit of look at the new WOSTR World of Streams platform. Be well informed with the profile type of well informed. The world of informed. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we will be closing it out for this evening. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. We are